issue is resolved and we can have a good stream. So I'm joined today for Week in Review with the usual Doooovid, his friend Deshaun, as well as Gandalf. We've all had a very interesting week. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Deshaun? What brings you to these circles, and what are you thinking of for future directions, possibly in streaming?
Well, what brings me to these circles, because I'm more of a conversationalist. I like to gather a lot of different ideals as I refine my own. And I think the future entails just what we're doing now, is live broadcasting from our personal spaces. And, traditional social interactions, I think, are going to be more of a luxury brand in the future, because digital and virtual reality is taking over everything. Like artificial intelligence is the new big deal, and we really don't know exactly what our roles are going to be in the future. We know we're going to be here, but like how much of a real social interaction will we have? That's still yet to be seen. So that's just my take on it.
So you're still wondering, like, what exactly the social life is going to be like online? It's kind of an interesting question. Someone was telling me basically that the internet culture that existed on 4chan, which is this anonymous posting board where people sometimes say naughty things, that culture has essentially not changed in about a decade. So it sort of suggests to me that there's some like core internet culture that maybe different people understand to different degrees, but that sort of doesn't change. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I've been into streaming for about coming up on a year now. I started off with this guy called Luke Ford, who you probably don't know, but Doooovid knows him well. And Gandalf's now regular on his show. But there's a lot of...
I heard of Luke.
Yeah, you heard of Luke, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen any of his stuff?
Vaguely, here and there.
Oh, okay, because we all love the one time that a bunch of hot-headed people showed up on Luke's show and basically had a big fight for 8 hours straight. A guy named Jim Goad. That's like what we kind of enjoy, the odd fight on the internet, but not constant fighting. So we kind of try to walk this fine line between good debates and like mini fights. And yeah, that's basically what our crew is all about. So
I understand.
I'm more about education, I think, than entertainment, but I understand that education has to be a little bit entertaining, otherwise people basically won't listen. But go ahead if you had something to say.
Well, somebody in the past told me the concept of edutainment. That's the future. And what I wanted to refer to is like hives online. Like, you got all these colonies of people and these distinct groups. Like, this is one thing I did learn from quote unquote academia. Like these different cluster groups in the digital world is determining which way advertising and, the service industry is pointing. So I just thought I'd throw that in there, because you asked me what my opinion of the future of this whole concept is. And it's just a new form of just doing like that direct sales and gathering information. I don't think anything is changing. I just think it's redefining itself.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe there is some core thing that doesn't really change, and everything else just changes around it. And we're just in the process of sort of realizing that. Real time. Yeah, unfortunately, for some reason, the stream is not streaming at a very fast rate, so I don't know what is wrong. I think it must be a problem with my internet connection.
Do you have high speed?
I do. It's just sometimes the OBS just doesn't want to work. So it's really not streaming very fast right now, and I can't really understand why, because I thought I put the settings correctly, but Anyway, we'll keep going for a little bit and see what happens to the stream rate. I haven't done anything, so I don't know why it would change. So yeah, it's always been frustrating. If anyone knows anything about this OBS stuff, maybe they can let me know. Because yeah, I'm getting pretty low stream rates. Are you there, Gandalf? Did you want to start talking about the contest?
Yeah, I just wanted to put for Dushan's benefit, and for other people that are new to this, I put in the side chat, and I'm putting a second video, 2 videos of like the Hive. I do like the Hive metaphor. You know, like there's hives of people, and people are constantly moving between hives, and it's like really like the World War of the ants, because like the different hives of people that migrate around different ideas are like the bug world. And do you know anything about how violent the insect world is?
Oh, vaguely. I do
Like,
get the drift. Ants in particular, I like that metaphor because that's a whole society within itself. But you can fill me in on, you know, the rest because I don't really follow it closely.
well, I think it's calming down, but occasionally it does, because people are behind screens, and you know, we live in a very isolated and sort of neurotic culture on all sides. You know, this is whether we're talking SJWs on the left, they're all insane, and so are the people on the right who are like their black mirror image,
Right?
You know, funhouse mirror image. And so like these people have all their little circles and their little mini cults, and these mini cults act like ant farms, for lack of a better term. And you know, when ant farms and ant colonies meet other ant farms and ant colonies, it's usually a war to the death, and people fight and go and try and ruin each other's little spaces, and because people fight and defend themselves over just the most arcane ideological points, often which are actually false, because people are so brainwashed they can't really sit down and actually make logical arguments anymore, if they ever could.
So yeah, I agree heavily with that. You know, I think a lot of it spills over into the real world, and I just want to ask both of you guys, how do you feel about the culture of trolling? Like trolling is becoming a cottage industry, so to speak.
No, I don't think there's any money in trolling unless you're like an actual agent provocateur, at which point it's not really trolling so much as gang stalking and gaslighting.
You know, that's a new term I had to get hip to, was gang stalking. To fill me in more on that concept. Like I'm still grasping it and I don't really know what it entails. So like maybe you can share some points with me.
It's not something I've really gone into very much. I don't know much about what gang stalking is. From what I understand, it's some paranoid people online that think that random people on the street are stalking them, and then they make videos about it, and other people laugh about it because these people are obviously, you know, paranoid, delusional, and not actually being stalked, and it's just random people on the street that they think are basically gang stalking them. And it was an internet meme because people were making videos laughing at these poor disturbed individuals who thought they were being gang stalked. I think that's where it originally came from. I'm not sure if gang stalking is ever really a thing per se IRL. I mean, theoretically, but yeah, it's kind of a sad thing.
I can agree with that. Like a cousin of mine who is a very prominent real estate guy told me that nobody's not even remotely interested in what you're doing. You know, even guys like him, like the so-called, you know, this whole scale of have and have not is just so convoluted. You know, certain people maybe further up the ladder than we are, but even they don't count. Like the top 10% of people that actually count, you know, it's a whole nother politic and who's watched and who isn't. Like if you start, you know, doing the Louis Farrakhan thing, then yeah, people's gonna like, you know, the intelligence community is gonna start keeping the tab on you. But I don't think anybody else remotely even come close on our level, just on the street. These people really just don't care what we into because we don't count in their eyes.
Most people don't care about anything unless it's put in front of them in mainstream media, or if it's in their trending stories within whatever circles they have in social media. Most people are just NPCs. They never have an original thought outside of whatever social programming they get from corporate advertising, education, religion, culture, whatever they're put in front of. So like, if you're someone who basically, like, if you think Republican versus Democrat is really, really important, like, that's like basic bitch stuff. If you're obsessed with that as anything other than a show, you are not someone who really understands politics. So if you're passionate about your Democrat or your Republican, and you think the other guy is just that bad, for whatever, just you just don't know anything. I mean, that's all kabuki theater. It's always been kabuki theater. A lot of them play their parts in front of the TV and then go drinking and carousing afterwards, laughing all the way to the bank because they're both getting paid by the same corporate donors.
Makes sense to me. Like a lot of those people that just are constipated in the mind, like, and I know a lot of people like that. And the sad thing is, these are usually the people that got their hands on the majority of resources that are available or is supposed to be available to us, the public, per se. And boy, they sure know how to pick them, don't they?
No, I don't endorse Winston Churchill on anything but this one quote. Said the quickest, and this is my position, the quickest way to make yourself not believe in democracy is a 5-minute conversation with the average voter. And 80% of voters, because 80% of people are this way, are NPCs. So that we have free elections, but we're only as free as the programming allows us to be, because most people only follow whatever programming they're given.
Right. Like, where do you see yourself in the scheme of things? Like, you are if I had to put a label on you, I would have to say you are the minority within the minority of the progressive movement, the truly progressive movement.
I'm a minority and a minority in everything, because most people, if people sit down and actually talk to me.
Okay. Yeah, I think what we're going to do is take like a 5-minute break while we eat. I'm going to unplug the mic and mute so you and Gandalf could talk it out while we eat real quick.
Sounds great. If Gandalf wants, I can play a clip.
Yeah, play. People are curious. Doooovid makes a pretty famous pasta. Almost everyone who's had my pasta has came back for more. I put a mix of mozzarella, cheddar cheese, capers, peppercorn, marinara sauce, ground pepper, and pesto.
Now, the only thing I don't like is I don't want pesto with that. I want everything else with that. I'm not a big fan of pesto. I don't know why.
Okay, so you guys hold down for a few minutes while we eat, because
but I will tell you, that sounds unbelievable. That's better than my pasta, which is just olive oil, a little bit of salt, some organic noodles, and some marinara sauce. That's maybe some meatballs or some cut up vegetables if I get really excited.
I think capers are a big deal. Like, there's a good connection between capers and pasta. So, keep capers in your fridge and add those to your pasta. You're going to also put Parmesan and Romano cheese on.
Before you start eating, one thing you should do, Doooovid, and I'm not kidding. You should do like a cooking show. You should do a cooking streams. You'd be good at it. I think Doooovid should do it. I think when Doooovid shows his plates, I am interested in what they are.
I'm pretty good at explaining things. But yeah, I don't know. Is the stream kind of like low quality, so whatever reason it's not coming in clear?
You think you can stream it on yours instead? Because I'm having connection problems on my end.
Okay, so you want to just end the stream?
Sure, and then we can stay in the Hangout if you want, and we can just pick it up on your channel. So if anyone's listening, we're going to be at Doooovid's. I put it in the comments. Sorry about that. I don't know what's wrong with my connection today.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll probably just StreamYard it.
We'll go over to Doooovid's.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Doooovid. I'll wait to get the link from you. Sorry about the confusion, everyone.